So the vibration on the V-rod, I felt it more in the front of the bike than the back. We have the front wheel done, taken off. It's on the it was on the balancer, balanced it perfect. Now we take the rear one out. Before we cleaned it or did anything, what I wanted to do is I have it on the balancer and I want to see if it's even close before we cleaned it or did anything. So I think the camera will pick it up in here. This is a rear wheel, and if I turn it, there's still the wheel weights, nothing changed. And I put it up that way and I left it go. I didn't push it. And as I suspected, the back, when I was riding it and laid my hand on the back fender, I could feel it worse than in the front, reaching down, touching the forks. So you can see how it's going back and forth. It shouldn't. It should put just about wherever I put it. Like if I put it here, it might move a little bit, but it should stay there. It shouldn't rock. And you can see there's no, there's just weights on one side, which there's 4 of them here. They're 1/4 ounces, so that's an ounce there. I would never do that. I'd put 2 on one side and 2 on the other, because that way you're balancing it laterally. I went over this before, but this is so important for tires, and that's what happened. Is he had these tires put on. I don't think they balanced it at all, because it wouldn't be this far off, you know, unless the guy he just stuck them on and said to hell with it. That's the reason I don't take them to the bike shop. I got a tire changer to do it, because they're not going to take the time to do this. So the first thing is I'm going to take these old wheel weights off. Take them off. He's going to completely clean this, the tire and everything. You don't want any gravel in it, because I am going to make this just all as perfect as I can get it. And it makes a big difference. And especially, even at low speeds, it'll make a difference, because his bike, I had it around 30 miles an hour, which isn't much, and I could feel the vibration right away, because he told us he put new tires on it, the man that owned it, and I said, you know, well, that's what it probably is. They just didn't balance it. Didn't balance it, or didn't balance it right. But these weights look like they've been on there a while. Now I can tell by the back tire a little bit of flatness, so he's ran this for a while. And that bike's shaking like that. It shouldn't be like that. See, I put it up here, and if I stop it, automatically it's going back. And it's worse than the front one was. So that has to be the vibration. And that weight is always going right down on the bottom, the weight he has on it. Yep, they're 1/4 ounce. So he's got a whole ounce of weight on there, 4 of them. And as I said, if you're going to put an ounce down here, you put 2 of them on this side, 2 on the other side, and it balances it laterally and centrifugal. So next thing is take it off the balancer, completely clean it. And that's for Slingshot will do that. He's back here. I'm calling you Slingshot. Right, that's your nickname. My handle will be Professor, because I'm doing the work. He's down there at the low end. He's a Slingshot. So the Slingshot does all the grub work. The Professor does the fine tuning.
All right, I'm learning.
Hey, don't bother me, I'm in surgery.
Right, I'm sorry.
Don't touch my hands, they're clean.
You're the boss.
Some of me is rubbing off on him, I think.
Your knowledge, you can do anything you want.
So we have the wheel completely cleaned. All the old weights are taken off. I have some painter's tape I'm going to need, and some more of the wheel weights. So I got it back on a balancer, and when you use this balancer, you want to make sure this rod that goes through here and holds it isn't touching this side and on the other side, so it's freewheeling. Just before we used it on the front wheel, I took WD-40, lubed these little wheels up. I want them turning real free. So right here, thank you. And you see, if I move it up and leave it go, it wants to go down. So I wait till it settles down. It's going back the other way. It'll finally settle down, and that'll be my heaviest spot will be on the bottom. This takes a while, but well worth it. Okay, it's right there. So I have a little piece of this tape, just a small piece. In fact, it's still moving right there. And I'm looking at this beam here, and I'm going to put it right in here on the bottom, right on the tire. Or I could just stick it right on the rim. Now I know that's about the heavy part. These come in 1/4 ounce weights. So I'm just going to right now take a piece of this painter's tape, and you roll it inside so you have it sticky on both sides. And I just want to test it first. So I stick it on here. I might need better tape. Yeah, this stuff won't hold. I got to get the better tape. Where's your white tape we had?
It's right there.
Yeah, okay.
He's stuck too. Top you want that.
Yeah, Gorilla tape will do it. And I want a small piece so it adds no weight. We did the other one, I forgot we used this. Painter's tape wouldn't hold that weight. And I'm just going to use a little piece, small as I can get it. You can see it's not very big, just enough to hold this weight. Now the weight has a thing you peel off to stick it, so I'm not peeling it off yet. I don't want to put it on, pull it off, have to move it. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go right up on the top, stick it right in here in the rim where it would set. There. Now, see how it's balanced there? Now, if that's all it takes to balance it, and it's perfect, I would cut that in half, put half there, and put half on the other side. When I go to take that off, I'll put a piece of tape up here so I know where it was, because I don't want to, you know, take it off, cut it, go to put it on and say, oh, exactly where was it? So I'm going to turn it down here. We can see it's going back. It's still heavy down at the bottom. Now that's 1/4 ounce on it, and that's not a lot of weight. My Suzuki took well over an ounce on the one wheel to balance, but if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. You can see it helped that it isn't turning quite as fast, but from where I first had this wheel, it's a world of difference just this far. Now I'm going to take another one. That's not enough weight. Put another piece of tape on it, and I'm going to go right on the other side. I'm going to squeeze this and back on. I'm going to go right across on this side and put a weight. I want to hold them so they stick on real good. There. Now leave it go without pushing it. Now that's with 1/2 ounce, and it's still turning. It still seems like where my blue tape on the bottom is coming to the bottom. So we know we're getting closer. Get another one, and these you can buy at Harbor Freight. Okay, it's better. It didn't swing as much, but it's still, that's the low on the bottom. So it's still not good enough. I'm going to put another one. I got to get another one on there. I'm going to go off camera, but what I'm going to do is put one beside this one. Try it. If it's not enough, I'll put another one on the other side. If I get too much, I might take one, cut it in half. But I'm going to keep doing that until I can turn that and it won't move. So I'll go off camera for that.
That hurts. I think I'm pretty good under here.
So now what I've done is I had put 2 up here, 2 on the opposite side. So now that's a full ounce. Half on this side, half on that side. So I don't have to cut any in half or anything. And these Harbor Freight weights, you get a package of them. Let's see, you get 3, 6, 7, 8, 32 of them, I think. No, there was more than that in there. But you get a lot of them, you can see, for a few bucks. Okay, now that was a heavy part right there that was on the bottom. I put an ounce on this side opposite. Now if I move it and let go, look, stays right there. If I move it over here, you can probably see the weights here. It stays. Wherever I move this, that thing should stay. If I was to spin this, say for a final test, and I do it some, it's moving a little bit, but we have the door open, there's very little air, but it's close. It is close. And what I've done is, a lot of times I clean the rim, do this, and while it's there, I'm cleaning the bike up and around where the wheel is. What I'll do is I'll spin it like this and just let it go, and it takes a long time to stop. Once it stops by itself, I'll take a piece of tape, put down here. Then I'll spin it again. That tape should not be on the bottom again, because it might stop anywhere. Then you know you have that. But I can tell right now, that's perfect there. So it took 1 ounce across here. If it takes an ounce, 2 ounces, put it on, because then it is balanced. When you go out the road, that bike is going to be so super smooth. That means a world of difference. I've done it for years and it's works great. So now I have those where I want them, and like I said, I don't want to take them off yet because I want to know where I had them at. So you can see my 2 weights right here. So what I do is I stick it on the rim right there and on the tire, that 1 piece of tape. Now I know where those go. Do the same thing on the other side. Try to get it as straight across, put them on, it's done, it's ready to go. One thing about, we put brakes on too on this V-rod. When you put the brakes on, read the instructions. When you take those out, the 2 pads are different. Look how they are. Now the paper tells you for the front brakes how to put them on, and get a paper with them. And on this, all 3 brakes are the same set of pads. But on one side in the front and on the other side, they have different holes, they go different. And you'll find you can put the pads in the caliper, push a pin down. When you go to put the other one in and don't want to line up, you have to put your thumb on them and push them back. They're spring loaded. There's a little clip up inside the caliper, and that's an anti-rattle. So they're pushed against it. They don't rattle when you leave the brake off going down the road, like car brakes have them, and they're usually a clip up in there. That's the way that is. Do it like that, you can't go wrong, and it's going to make a big difference. I told them to go out the roads, they're rough around here, and go out a bypass, it's smooth, and see if the vibration's all right.
Unbelievable.
A lot better?
Day and night.
Just the balance of the wheels did it.
Yep, day and night.
And I mean, that thing was really vibrating. So Boy, that back wheel, it's hard to get in. You got so many things to line up, but other than that, you know, it ain't a bad job. And but boy, I tell you, get that wheel up in there, holy man. So that takes care of that.
Very nice.